boys, girls, and squirrels, my name is Modstab, and welcome to the office tour video. That is right, I promised this like 2 weeks ago. Now I'm finally delivering because I'm horrible and I like to procrastinate. And also, there's no promises that this dog won't be absolutely crazy and get in every single shot and bark and yell at me because she's lonely and she needs my love. But before we do the office tour, I do want to talk about a couple of real quick things. Before we get started, there is a donation a little savage. There is a donation tab in the description below. If you want to go ahead and click that link and support the content that way, that'd be awesome. But even better than that, like, subscribe, and share with all your friends is going to be a way for my content to get out there, and I would love that kind of support. While we're on the topic of support and subscribers, we, as of recording this video, are 1 subscriber short of the 100 subscriber benchmark, in which we'll be doing a giveaway, 2 $25 gift cards to Amazon that will go to 2 lucky subscribers. We will get into more details once we actually hit that barrier, and I'll have a separate video. But that's for the future. I just want to let you guys know we are incredibly close. I want to thank you guys so much for all your support and everything up to this point. But now, let's go ahead and check it out. Alrighty, so you guys saw a little bit of the, for lack of a better term, promo footage of the area, and so I think it's time to kind of explain some of those things. First, we're going to step to this guy here, all the fancy, beautiful dry erase markers, because you need organization, okay? That is what this whole office setup is about, organization, and you're going to see that. But first, we're going to start with organizing what I have to do. This calendar keeps me on task. We have the black, that's when I want to upload things. The red is when I need to be recording the things, and green is when I need to be editing the things. Alrighty, so long story short, like I said, this keeps me on track. This makes me do my job when my job is supposed to be done, and it also allows me a little wiggle room to be able to kind of get ahead of schedule because, well, quite frankly, life happens, and sometimes you gotta plan for that. Now we're gonna come over to here, and this is another calendar, all right? This is the beautiful calendar. This one doesn't keep me on track, it just keeps me motivated. Why? Because wow. And this is my wife's corner for a couple of reasons. She has a nice comfy chair that she gets to hang out in. She gets to do all of her work. But primarily, these guys here you see, what is it, You Are My Sunshine, My Only Sunshine? These were actually boards that were put up for our wedding. It was, I don't remember exactly the story behind it, but I know her sister made it, and it's one of the sayings that they kind of have, you know? But these are beautiful, and they just have a lot of meaning, obviously, because we're married, and this is there when we were married. So this is my wife's corner, as far as relaxing and getting work done is concerned. But just over here, we actually have my wife's corner that she actually made. So she spent a lot of time on just really organizing it, making it look really cool, and showing off the little bits and pieces of things that we do as a couple, but also some of the things I do on my own, with some loot box related stuff, some anime related stuff, some like plushies or stuffed animals. It's just a lot of fun, and it just shows off some of the personality of what we do here. So along with organization, there's a lot of other things we did in the office to kind of make it my own and make it feel like a place where I can be inspired to work, not just because everything is manufactured down to the most minute detail, but because there are things that you just like to enjoy seeing in your office. Like this is a good example here, just a quick little wall. We have some fairy tale stuff, actually functional keys. They legitimately open the gates. It's great. I keep them locked in here just for the safety of the average population. But those are a lot of cool to have. To show that me and my wife really got into it. It's one of the first anime that she was introduced to, and she fell in love with it, which made me fall in love with it. So it was great. And then down here, we actually have a photo of me on my wedding day with my grandma and grandpa who raised me, and it was a good time. Fun had by everyone, because that's what weddings are. Lots of fun. And then we come back over here to the posters. Once again, making it completely my own. And as you can see, a common theme. There are about 2 shows, maybe 3 shows that are really displayed in this office pretty much everywhere because they had a huge impact on my life. But we have the fairy tale. For the aforementioned reason over there, my wife got into fairy tale. It's great. Urza Bay, but I digress. We come over here now and we have the World of Warcraft banners. Now for those of you who are super familiar with the game, no explaining needed here, but those of you that aren't, we have the Alliance banner right here. It's the one with the lion. It's blue, it's very regal, it's very just upright, and you feel like you're super proper, like human being, and you actually matter to the world when you play on the Alliance characters. Then you have the Horde flag over here, which has some really cool color scheme, but I must say it looks a little chaotic. It's got all these jagged edges. It's lower than the Alliance flag because the Horde kind of suck and the Alliance are better. But that's truth, and everybody knows it. Long story short, when it comes to World of Warcraft, I guess, it's something that me and my family have played together a lot. It's a lot of experiences made, a lot of inspiration as far as what I do now and how I commentationary. That's where we're gonna go with. But it's just an inspiration on the games that I play, genres I enjoy, and it's just a lot of fun knowing that my family's involved with that too. I'm not gonna lie, I forgot about this and my wife kind of reminded me. Thank you, wife. But we have guitars because I play guitar fairly frequently and I like guitar. We have the first electric guitar that I was given, I think on my 13th or 14th birthday. This was a gift from my grandpa who was in the wedding photo there. It was really beat up, but it got me into guitar. I learned how to play chords on this. I never really played any rock music, ironically, but I did play a little bit. I played a lot more rock on my acoustic that I got just out of high school. But this was my introduction to music, and now I play for like the church, our local church, and I've played for conferences and things like that. And it's a lot of fun. I enjoy it. Now we come to my baby. Oh, hello, flag. Thank you. You're showing off again. This was actually gifted to me by my dad, but it's a Gibson Les Paul. Unfortunately, I play it too much, so he had a little signed kind of like quote or inspirational quote there for me. But I kind of scratched it off, and I don't know. It's a beautiful guitar. Like, I've never had a guitar this nice before as far as electrics are concerned. And occasionally it ventures into the territory of drop B flat just to get a little bit metal in here. But it's really smooth. I love it. I'm so grateful that was a gift. I'm grateful that he signed it. Yeah, it's a lot of fun. I like guitar, and another reason why I do a lot of things I do is because the people I met when I was learning music and traveling around the US and playing music for people, and so it was a lot of fun, and I love this guitar, and I want more of them. And we come to, well, first, my wife, my mom, and me on my wedding day. Yay, more wedding day photos. Also, outside of that, this is the most boring spot because it's a printer and it has paper and office stuff, and it's office things, so we're gonna move on from that quickly. In between there is another autographed Star Wars picture, because Star Wars is another one of those films that I really enjoy. We get the Spooter Boy, the big old Spooter Boy right here on my router that is just a beast. We use this thing to power basically half of a city block. Basically, I can provide internet for the whole state of Wisconsin with this thing, so it's really good. But it's just kind of some books and things like that. Obviously, World of Warcraft books. We have a woodworking book, and then the first motherboard I've ever had. And some of you might be wondering, what the crap is that? Well, it's a motherboard that went into an Asus micro tower, and it was very specific. It had 90-degree adapters, and literally it will not fit in any other case besides the case it came in. So I was a little bummed to find that out because it's a nice motherboard, but I figured since I can't use it for actually building a PC unless I bought custom parts, we're just gonna hang it up here, and it's gonna be just kind of a remembrance of kind of where everything started. So yeah, for those of you that like tech stuff and motherboard stuff, this will be featured forever. And when it starts getting old, decrepit, and worn out, I will probably just frame it so that I can keep it forever, because I love it. I love Asus. Alrighty, boys, girls, and squirrels. That's a popular phrase. It's gonna go viral someday, I promise. Anyways, this is what you guys all came here for. Well, I shouldn't say all, but this is what a lot of you guys came here for when it comes to the office tour. You wanted to see my computer setup, where I get work done, and why it looks so beautiful. Outside of the fact that I'm there and that makes everything more beautiful. But that's what, I digress. We move on. Comfy chair, beautiful chair, reclining chair. Sorry, it doesn't cost $3.99. Greatest reference ever. But I don't know, if you're gonna sit at a desk for a long time, you need a comfy chair. But nobody cares about chairs. That's just to be comfy, it's to feel good. I'm sorry, dog. I made noise and she's sad. I'm gonna start with peripherals because I think those are incredibly important. Camera woman has just sat down. She is very fatigued. She must be a horde player. We're gonna start with peripherals because as I've been recording and just getting more into the YouTube, the videography, filmography aspect of things, peripherals really truly do make a world of difference. And we're gonna start with my personal favorite peripheral, my headphones. These are the WH-1000s from Sony, and these are by far the most comfortable headphones, the most accurate headphones that I personally have ever worn. And I'm not going to get into super detail about all these products. I'm just going to gloss over them. But this one, I really specifically wanted to call it by name because I don't know if I will ever switch to another headphone after this. They're amazing. They're comfortable. I'm not sponsored by Sony or their headphone affiliates, but hit me up. Call me. This makes a world of difference. It makes everything sound good. It makes everything feel good. While we're on the topic of like audio peripherals, we're going to talk about a couple things. I guess before I get started, let's talk about this audio mixer here / audio interface. Now, why I want to start with this is this is where all the magic happens. This is kind of the brains of the operation. We have this guy that provides power to my microphone, but it also provides audio to the speakers, which is what we're going to talk about next. But long story short, I can adjust frequencies, I can adjust channels, I can have multiple microphones, multiple instruments, multiple speaker setups. This is just a really nice interface that allows me to do everything I can at pretty much the highest quality available. Really good audio encoders in there, so that way my computer doesn't have to do a bulk of the audio processing. Next, we're going to go ahead and talk about these speakers. Now, these guys are Presonus speakers, so they're studio monitors. And for the longest time, I actually just used a pair of Bose and then used my headphones as my primary source. But these guys have made a world of a difference. So for those of you that are familiar with how audio mastering and mixing works, not only do you want to have a pair of headphones that are nice so that you can get those sounds and frequencies adjusted to make sense there, but you also want to hear how it's going to sound in a sound system as well. So that way, whether they're listening on headphones, or they're listening on speakers, or they're listening on a crappy car stereo, they can get the best quality that is available to them. And this helps do that. So continuing on the train of peripherals when it comes to audio, we're going to go with the mic. Now, I do have a Rode boom stand here. It is a beautiful, beautiful stand. I previously had a bunch of different Rode microphones that I used. I did have some issues with them. I think it could have been on my end, but we had some power surges, things like that, and so things just had to be changed. So what happens is we have the Ember microphone right now, which is actually one of the more cost-effective parts I have, but because of that audio interface, I can really make it sound good, so that it all makes sense. I put a bag over it. Some of you are wondering why, and I've actually had people who've come in personally that I'm friends with to the office and ask, doesn't that affect the audio? Well, yeah, but I don't have it on when I'm recording, you goobers. This is what happens when you have a mic powered, and all technology likes to stay powered on. If you turn it off and on and off and off and off and on, it's going to wear the life down of a product. So what you want to do is, especially stuff as sensitive as microphones and studio equipment, you want to keep that thing powered as much as possible. But if you have it powered, it is an electronic piece, so dust is just going to get up in the grill, okay? It's going to be horrible, it's going to be sad, and your microphone is going to break down. We'll put a plastic bag over the top of this guy, so that way I can leave it powered on, and dust won't get to it, therefore increasing the longevity of the mic. And I just take it off when I'm recording, so you guys don't even know. A little bit of behind the scenes tidbit there for you. My second favorite peripheral behind my beautiful, beautiful headset, the WH-1000s from Sony, which you should go buy right now. I'm not sponsored by them, but please give me money, Sony. It's going to be the keyboard and mouse. Now, I am a Corsair fanboy when it comes to peripherals. I love their keyboards. This is actually the K95 Pro and the M65 Pro from Corsair. This guy, I like this a lot more than the Razer I was using previously. For those of you that are familiar and maybe recognize this keyboard, and I think it was my second live stream that I did on the channel, I spilt a kickstart on it. It was a good time. It stopped working. I was really sad. And I was using Razer for the last couple months actually. And my problem with Razer is that it's just so loud and clicky. If I punch this guy, it's got a little bit of a dull click to let you know that your button's being pressed, and that way you can tell that responsiveness. But it's not as like abrasive and just super high pitched as a Razer, and it's incredibly durable. I spilt an energy drink on it and it still works. Before we get to the next part, this is why you buy a nice boom stand. You literally just move it out of the way. It's incredibly convenient because I can twist and turn it so that it is always right where it needs to be. But before I ramble too much about that, we're gonna actually talk about, not the monitors quite yet, that's what you thought I was gonna talk about. Don't worry, it's coming. These are actually what we're gonna talk about. So for those of you that aren't familiar or don't remember my old setup, let me grab this. This guy right here, it's a studio style light. Now, I took the studio lights that are like yay long out of this. Like they're like 3 feet long, 4 feet long lights. Now probably 3 feet. 3 feet's probably more accurate. They're like a 3 foot long light. And then they actually have this guy here, right? This has an umbrella. The problem with this, that's the amount of space you have to clear. And these need to be in front of me to even the light out. I could not put my desk up against the wall because quite frankly, it wouldn't have the space. So we had my desk kind of in the middle and then those behind. So we had almost no room left in the office to do anything. And I needed to fix that because I wanted this to be a place where not only I could work and it looks professional, but when you come in here, you get to relax because it's open, it's freeing, it's inspiring. We have, actually funny enough, we went to a local hardware store and I fabricated the mount for this myself because there were two separate sides and I just had to adapt, all right? And we made it work. But we actually, to get the lighting as even as possible, we actually found a slightly cheaper route. We went with some ladder hangers, which are these big metal guys right here. And then we actually took... I banged on the wall and then my dog is going a little crazy. So you might hear in the background. But what we did here is we took clamp lights, which are actually usually... I'm gonna get the dog. For the third time, we actually just took some clamp lights, which are actually designed more so for under the hood type of work and things like that in a garage or in a shop. But what we did is we took those clamp lights, we put a 60 watt bulb in there that has some natural sunlight tones, and then we just took a t-shirt actually, and we cut the t-shirt and clamped it on there because what it does is it goes from being an incredibly harsh light. I don't know how well it shows up on camera, but normally when you have these bulbs, they are incredibly precise and they pierce and they really light up things, and it's kind of what we would call like a harsh tone. But putting that t-shirt under it, it really evens out the light. So I don't have one big white spot here on, I shouldn't face that way because you won't see it. But I won't have like one big white spot on my cheek and everything else has natural skin tone. That helps everything have natural skin tone. And it was an incredibly cheap way to get just as good, honestly, if not better than those studio lights for the setup that I have. And these are still mobile, so they can move around and they can be adjusted. So no matter how many monitors or what my setup is, I can adjust that to work with my setup. And now for the monitors, which is a lot of people's favorite part. But before I do that, I know I just did this in the last scene, but look at the boom mic. I just love the boom stand. I love the fact that I can rotate that any way and that it can be out of the way of any shot, or if I'm moving around in my office, I can adjust the audio to work. I digress. We're actually going to start with monitors. So first and foremost, we're going to start with what I would consider my primary monitor, not necessarily because of its quality. Now, this is a 144 hertz monitor, which is really nice and it makes gameplay buttery smooth on my end, and it does do 1440p. So it does have some pretty decent resolution, but primarily it is a monitor with a better response time, a better refresh rate. That way everything looks buttery smooth when I'm playing things like Heroes of the Storm that require a quick reaction time, and for that monitor to change image sequences really quickly, so that I can be as competitive as possible. Now, going to the next monitor, we're gonna go to this guy. This is actually my favorite monitor. So this is an LG monitor. It's a 4K, HDR10 certified. It is a beautiful, beautiful monitor. And now the reason I have two separate monitors here is this one, like I said, I use for gameplay. This guy, I actually use for editing all the photos, all the videos, because it gives me a little bit more natural tone to all those colors. So when you guys see any videos or things come out that are more cinematic focused, this is the monitor I'm going to be using. Gameplay, I leave virtually untouched because gameplay is great as is. But if I'm recording something, I want to make it look beautiful. This is what I use as a reference, and I just love it. I just love the color tone. It's a lot richer, it's a lot deeper, and because of that HDR10 certification, it has a larger range of different brightnesses that it can display without losing quality. Now, before we get to this monitor, I do want to talk about the camera setup I have. I have a 2-camera setup. I have a C920 webcam. It's okay. I mean, it's the same C920 that's been out for like 8 years. They haven't changed the quality on it much, but you know what? You always got a plan for when something goes wrong. And in that, we're going to talk about the camera that is in my wife's hands. The camera that you guys are. Your guys' eyes are the camera that I usually put right here. It is the Sony AX53. I know it's not a DSLR, but it is a really, really nice handheld camera. It's a beautiful camera. It has 4K, once again HDR10 certified, and get up to, I believe, 120 frames per second. Not in 4K, but it can get up to 120 frames per second, and it just makes the image quality of live streams of videos look so, so good. And one reason why I like having such good video and audio equipment is I want you guys to feel like you're there hanging out with me. So I want it to look as lifelike as possible. And nice thing is, I don't have to have all the lights on and have a big old beacon on the back flags, because it handles low light really well. So you guys get to see all the cool stuff in the background without me having to put like a spotlight on it, which allows you guys to focus on the game footage and then me secondarily. So it's kind of nice. I love the camera. I love that equipment. But now, this guy right here, we're gonna reference this first. I'm gonna troll you guys every time. It matters not what someone is born, but what they grow to be. Albus Dumbledore. He was actually my great grandfather. Just kidding. Outside of the fact that it was, I know I keep bumping it. Outside of the fact that it was, a Harry Potter, which was a film me and my wife watched, and we watched the whole series. It was a lot of fun. It's just a really cool quote because it basically boils down to kind of my thought process on YouTube as a whole. It doesn't matter how you start, but where you go. That's just a really good life kind of quote in general. My wife wanted me to tell you, she gave it to me for Christmas as well, because apparently she loves me or something. I don't understand. But it's just
neither do I.
Right now, finally, to the monitor I pointed at like 4 times. The cheapest piece of junk in this office. Literally the cheapest piece of junk in this office. Now the reason it's a cheap piece of junk is because I use it to display the live stream chat. If you are chatting to me in live stream, you get this whole monitor to yourself, okay? You have this dedicated real estate, okay? And this cheap piece of garbage is also what put us over the price point that I have listed as the title of this description, which my wife will yell at me and say is too much, but it's okay. Give me a lot of thumbs up to support me, because if I come with a bruise in next stream, you guys know why. It's okay. I don't want to say piece of crap because it does exactly what I need it to do, but it's certainly not up to the standard of all the other stuff in this office. But it gets the job done, and this is what puts us over that price point. And then we're gonna finish. We're just gonna use promo footage for my computer down here. Once again, you guys have seen a lot of that. You guys saw me kind of upgrade it. There's some stuff that changed, I think, since we did that upgrade video, as far as specs and layout of the computer. But you did get to see that, and I'll leave a link in the, was it the top left, top right? I don't know. It'll pop up. You guys will see it. It'll be great. But we did upgrade that, and we're actually to the point, and I explained this to my wife, I'm actually to the point right now where my computer specs aren't what really excites me about recording and playing games and doing film. It's actually all the peripherals. Like, I keep going back to this headset, like the WH-1000s. But my goodness, has this been a game changer. I had some Corsair headphones. I think they were the Void Pro. They're pretty nice as far as gaming headphones are concerned, but they can't hold a candle to the audio quality of that set right there. And it's just the peripherals make a world of difference in your gaming experience. And I found that I really enjoy those more because it makes me feel like I'm more immersed and I get to interact with the game a little bit better. Alrighty then, living the dream. So thank you guys so much for joining me in kind of the office tour. I know it was really in depth, and for some of you it might be a little dry, but I really wanted to get out here and I wanted to show everybody the layout of the office. There's a lot of people that had questions and a lot of people that really, really, truly wanted to see it. And so I wanted to be as detailed as I possibly could be. But before we totally close this video out, what I do want to say is thank you guys once again so much for all your support. As stated in the beginning of this video, we are 1 subscriber away from that 100 subscriber benchmark, which we will be doing a giveaway for of 2 $25 Amazon gift cards, which go to 2 lucky subscribers, and details will be to follow with that because we'll be making a separate video. What I do want to say is thank you so much for joining me. Remember, liking, commenting, and subscribing, great tools for you to get in touch with me. Let me know what you like, didn't like, and what you want to see next. Without further ado, I'm gonna shut my filthy little cake hole. Remember, I love you guys, and we will see you next time. Toodles!